Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the biggest shift I ever made that allowed me to attract real abundance. Let's get started. So, for a long time, it really appeared that I was doing really well. I graduated from a good college. I went to law school, was a lawyer for a couple years, passed the bar exam, and I ended up getting into online entrepreneurship. I made really good money doing that, was able to travel the world, and everything seemed to be very awesome. But it really wasn't. I was 35 years old. I'm 45 now. I was lonely. I was single. I was making good money, but I wasn't fulfilled. Ended up doing was, like a lot of people do, is I got involved in a lot of really bad habits. I drank quite a bit, like on every weekend. I went through a phase back in 2018, 2019, where I smoked weed or did an edible like literally every night for over a year. That was not very good. I also had a serious porn addiction, which I'm not very proud of. What I can laugh about now, but is a really something that I really struggled with, which fortunately is no longer the case. And what I realized is that I was just chasing a lot of external validation, getting the big house, getting the big car. I've been working in the coaching industry for quite a while, speaking on the bigger stages and being the guy with a Lamborghini and whatnot. When you work hard, and I was working hard, and you don't get those things, it just makes you feel more empty inside. And then that forces you to kind of cope and kind of spiral out of control and get into those different types of addictions and things like that I mentioned. And so my big shift really came when I started to optimize my life, not for external validation, not for external awesomeness, but for internal resonance, for internal peace, and for really optimizing my vibration to be as high as possible. That was the big shift. And when I say optimize your vibration, it's doing things that expand you, that put you into a positive state. And these things really are virtuous types of activities. These are things like eating, moving, sleeping. These are things like random acts of kindness, gratitude, meditation, spending time with friends, doing quality work. I'm not talking about those things that make us feel good, like, eating bad food, indulging in porn. So that is the big difference. And then once I started to do that, my entire life changed. And it was actually really timely, because the thing that was really missing in my life was that connection, was finding my life partner. It's something that I really started, it was back in 2015, that same period of time. That's when I realized I wanted to be a father. I wanted to have kids. But unfortunately, it just never happened. I did the things, right? I went on dates, tried to be the man and all that, but I was never really able to attract that person. But what ended up happening was, I remember I was actually leading one of my mastermind events in Colombia. We were in the Colombian rainforest, and I got this call from the universe that I was meant to find my Colombian soulmate, and I was meant to find her soon. And then once I had that call, once I had that signal, that download, that allowed me to get internally aligned, increase my vibration even more. And the way manifestation works is that once you kind of have that internal clarity, you are able to kind of take the right actions, and it's relatively effortless. And then, long story short, I ended up, that was back in July of 2019 when I got that call, and I ended up meeting Jessica, my now wife. I met her for the first time in December of 2019, and we've been married for almost 5 years, and we have a 13-month-old daughter, my amazing daughter, April, and I'm really more happy and fulfilled now than I ever was back when I was, chasing and doing all the things that I mentioned. And so it all started with getting that internal vibration and really optimizing for that internal vibration, which is really essentially all I talk about on this channel. So be sure to watch all of the other videos that I'm posting here, because I go deep into all of the different ways you can increase your vibration. So definitely like and subscribe to this channel if you have not already. But really, I want to leave you today with one important action. And that action item is just always be thinking about, as kind of a program running in the back of your mind, what is the high vibration action I can take right now? What's the thing that I'm going to do that's going to raise my vibration? And oftentimes, that thing that you need to do, it could be, making that difficult phone call or sending that email or grinding through that workout. Those can be high vibration activities. But oftentimes, it's those little things. As you know, you've heard this before. It's the things like just making sure you put your dishes in the dishwasher, making sure you wash your hands well after you use the restroom. It could be just a small thing, making sure you just spend an extra present moment with your child, or making sure that when you're ending a phone call with somebody, you tell them one reason why you appreciate them. It doesn't need to be anything super duper complicated, but the thing is when you do that high vibration activity and you're always optimizing for what the high vibration is, what that does is it raises your frequency by definition. And from what we know about quantum physics, when you are vibrating at a high level internally, you're able to actually attract those amazing things, that external abundance that you're looking for. One thing I didn't mention was that after I started optimizing for my frequency, after I met my wife, I ended up having my most profitable years in business ever soon after that. Coincidence? Definitely not. But it all started with that internal vibration. So that is the message today. Optimize for internal vibration, and then you are going to get those external results you're looking for. So this is Ron Reich. Hope this was helpful. Keep being awesome. Be sure, again, to like and subscribe to this video, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya.